I've had like quite a few people recently say that you know what, social media is just not their thing. It's just not their jam. Like they're on podcasts because that's not their thing, but now they're realizing that they have to be the face of this brand.
Mhm.
Right? So they prefer to come on a podcast where they can have those conversations rather than going out there and doing TikToks or whatever it is, right? Whatever the new one is. So in your audience, you said a lot of them are growing and they're building businesses and they're converting in that way, but not in the other way. I wonder where that disconnect is. I guess maybe it could just be the personas that you're in alignment with.
Yeah, I think it all comes to who you're trying to talk to and who you're trying to sell to, and identifying where they're hanging out.
Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us on another episode of Entrepreneurial Truth. On today's podcast, we have Aline Hoss. Thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thank you so much for having this opportunity to have this conversation with you.
Awesome. Aline, can you tell everyone a little bit about you, what you do, and who you serve?
Yeah, absolutely. So I've been working in digital marketing for the past 18 years. And when I got pregnant with my first daughter, I just knew that I didn't want to go back to corporate. So I look at all my skills, what I was able to start my entrepreneurial journey and start doing. So web design at a time, it was what I was doing for almost 10 years at a time. So I started doing that, and it was right before pandemic. So when pandemic started, I dove into creating courses, creating online offers, launching. Everyone was trying to figure out how to bring their business online. So I started helping other people creating their sales pages and their funnels and all of that. And I just fell in love. So for the past 7 years, that's what I've been doing. I know things changed a little bit. Courses are not as popular as used to be in 2020. So people are creating more experiences and programs. So I love partnering with other entrepreneurs to create their experience and their programs and bring that online.
Ooh, there's so much to dive into here. Okay, so you are online and you're doing this business.
Mm-hmm.
How did you pivot when things started to shift from the courses, and how did you change your courses when you saw that it wasn't working the same way?
Yeah, absolutely. I think when I started my journey, I always had this mindset of really looking at what people were in need online. So I didn't have any set expectations or big dream in terms of a business that had to work in a certain way. I was always willing to create connections and analyze the industries and what people were looking to do, and also the audience, what they were looking to purchase, what kind of experiences they were looking for. So online courses got really popular during the pandemic because people were trying to learn and trying to teach online and figure that out. But then it got a little oversaturated because everyone was creating a course. Everyone was buying courses that weren't delivering the results. So things have started shifting, and I wasn't too attached to just creating courses. I started just looking what people are looking for now. And I feel for the past 2-3 years, people are looking for experiences. They're not looking to just purchase something and sit in front of a computer for 40 hours watching a video anymore. They want to participate, they want interaction, they want to create connections with other people. So in my business, I was always flexible in terms of delivering what people were interested in experience.
Wow. And how do you feel about those content creators now where you're sitting that are saying that you can do like $10,000 in like 30 days? And like, I want you to talk about what that looks like.
Yeah, I feel, especially in the last year, when I hear a business owner just saying, this is the secret to make it online, or this is the system you need in order to grow your business, that it's a great way to make money for them. That's a great way for them to become successful for something. and they're not looking what their audience actually need, because there's not one solution that works for everybody anymore. Every industry and every entrepreneur needs to find what their audience is looking to experience, what they're willing to pay for, what that need is. So there's not one system or one format, of course, that it's going to work for everyone. I heard that a lot of gurus online saying, everyone needs this kind of funnel, and it's just not true anymore. So I still hear that, and I feel that it's great for them. They are probably making a lot of money selling that solution that works for everyone. But then I would love to see behind their scenes the progress, the student progress, how many people actually complete their program and how many people actually achieve that promise, because they probably have a great conversion rate for sales, but then the results and completion rate, it's two very different things. So yeah, I still hear that, and he always makes me think that it's great for them, but not for the student.
I love that you've jumped in there. Most people that are working online as entrepreneurs have taken some course or the other to learn to try and figure out, because there's no real roadmap and there's no magic wand for people. What kind of completion rates do you like to see for like your own business, and like what drives you in your business?
Yeah, absolutely. My business. So I am not the type of person that thinks it's one solution for everyone. So even though I have created over 100 courses with my clients and launched with them, online courses was never something that worked for my business, because for my business, it was always a more intimate experience in helping them, like really holding their hands and helping them create an experience that it's personalized and customized to their not only their audience, but also their season of life. I work with a lot of busy moms, so it has to be something that works for them. And that solution, I can't create a pre-recorded course that works for everyone, because my completion rate would be very low. So when I work one-on-one, I make sure that the clients get the results that they were promised when we initially talked. And I'm able to hold their hands the entire process and pivot in the middle to achieve that result. So I don't have a completion rate, because mine, it's not like a program that they follow. We're just together for 2-3 months during their launch, and 100% of my clients launch, and the results that were promised in the beginning were delivered. I never promise numbers because I don't know their audience. I'm new to their audience and we work together. But what I promise is the experience that we're going to deliver. So I can't just make it up a number. You're going to make for sure 20,000 in 2 months, because that doesn't depend on me. It's not something that I can promise that, magically it's going to happen. It's a combination of my skills with the expert that I'm working with. So what I promise is that they're going to have a course created and launched, and they have at least a certain amount of sales to consider a successful launch. And then they have something that they can repeat and continue doing. And it's never going to be something that it's 100% done, because they have to pivot, they have to tweak, they have to keep testing in order to achieve the ultimate result that they want, which is a 100K launch or something like that, which everyone wants. So like, in order to get that, there's so many things that needs to happen on their side as well.
Oh, I love that. I love that. And how do you see in the current market that we're in now with AI and automation, right? How do you see it changing the way people are delivering services and doing business?
Yeah, it's changing a lot, especially on the online courses and online programs. Because before, you probably heard that a lot. A lot of experts were selling their course as a collection of information. So it's like they were putting together the information that people could find online, but their course, it was like the exact thing that they needed. So they wouldn't have to be Googling or watching YouTube videos. So the promise was, this course, it's like what you need about that topic. Nobody cares about that anymore. They can put on ChatGPT or something, ask the question. And the thing is, they don't know what they don't know. So when ChatGPT spits out an entire outline or an entire framework or a step by step, the user thinks that they got everything they needed because they don't know what they don't know, and they think that's the plan, and they don't know what else they could learn if they paid $1,000 for an online course on the same topic. So that
Mhm.
changed. Now in 2 seconds, they're getting their information. They don't need to watch 40 hours of videos anymore. They can get in 2 seconds. And that's
Mhm.
why courses, the course launches started not be really hard and not get the same results because people couldn't see why they need to pay $1,000 if they can get in 2 seconds for free.
Mhm.
So that's why pivoting from just online courses that sells information to an online program or experience that sells the proximity to the expert or an experience through Zoom or live events, all of those other things, that's what people are craving because they already have the information they think they need. So they're craving that validation, that connection with the community. And that's what is being really successful now in 2026.
Mhm. I love that you said that. So, we have an AI automation business. And a lot of entrepreneurs come to us and they're like, listen, I want this automation because they've seen it through, someone else is using it, someone else has spoken about it, and they think that that's what they need in their business because they're not clear about what their business actually needs.
Mhm.
And they think they need more than they actually do for where they are. How do you see that in your line of work and what you're doing with owners that are coming to you like, hey, listen, I'm trying to do this thing?
Yeah. Yeah. And I think it's the same thing because people either they take a course that they want to create something similar, or they see a competitor or someone in their same industry being really successful selling a course or a program, and they think that's what they want. Also, and I have so many conversations where they come to me saying, I want to create something exactly like this. And my first question is, why? Is that really what your audience needs? Because it's not creating the solution is an AI automation or a course or a program. It's not creating that and then trying to sell to the audience you have. Is the other way around. So the first step is knowing your audience. What do they want? What kind of solution they want? And then identifying and connecting with them to identifying the format that they are willing to receive that solution. So that might not be a course at all. It's just the same for me. Like my clients don't want a course. They don't want to sit and learn how to create anything. They want someone to do for them. So it's like, it's if I create and try to sell, I'm not going to be successful because I know my audience. I know what they want. So it's learning very clear what your audience is looking for, or sometimes they don't even know what they're looking for, but what kind of problems they have that your solution can help, and then identifying the format to deliver them.
Mhm. And what are some key ways that you think that entrepreneurs can get clearer on what they need?
It's by connecting with their audience. In 2026, you can't hide behind your business anymore. I think personal brands are becoming so popular right now
Mhm.
because you have to be the face of your business. You can't hide behind a general logo and a beautiful website and try to sell a solution, because people are trying to connect with people to see if they're really the person that is going to help them. They're not hiring businesses and agencies to give them the solution. They want to connect. That's why podcasts are growing and content creation. It's like you have to create content because people want to see that you're actually good at what you're doing, and they want to see your opinion on certain topics before working with you. They want to see how you position. They want to see results from your clients. So connecting with the audience, it's really necessary right now to really understand what they want.
Hmm.
You
Hmm.
have the face of it.
I love that you went into that topic, personal brands too, right? Like personal branding, yes, it's like making a comeback. Because I remember there was a time where faceless videos was just like the thing. And yes, to some extent, Um, but right now everyone is like shifting towards creating that brand.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was there. I never really liked it to be the face of the company. I tried to hide in like my studio branding for so many years, which was totally fine in the beginning. For 3 4 years, it was fine. But then I could see the shift of people wanting to connect with the person. So I saw a lot of studios and web design, small agencies and small businesses putting the founder or the owner as the face of that agency. And then even though we have a team, you're always going to talk to me. You're going to see my face on podcasts. You're going to see my face on social media. So you know that you are purchasing from that person, and you know her values, you know her beliefs. And then you see if you connect personally with that person before making a decision of investing.
Yep. Yep. I love that. And what is some advice that you would have given yourself maybe a couple of years ago before even getting to where you are now?
If I knew how things would work after pandemic and all of that, and now in 2026, I would probably have invested in my email list a lot earlier in my business. I feel that email, it's a very personal way to connect with your audience, because Instagram and like the other types of content creation, you just talk to everyone and it's very general. But when you get into someone's inbox, it's just a different level of conversation that you have, that I personally wished I have started earlier. It was always something that I heard people saying, and I'm like, one day I'll get there, one day I will start. And it took me a long time to do that for myself, even though I was doing for my clients. So if I could go back to like 2020, 2021, I could definitely have invested more time creating funnels to bring people to my list, so I could start those more deeper conversations with them earlier in my business.
Wow. Wow. And what are some of the top techniques or tips that you think someone watching this could actually implement right now to kind of drive traffic to the top of funnel?
Yeah, because I think that on the email list, you talk about more personal, like your more personal beliefs. It's not general. If you create a newsletter or something that talks about, like, it could come from anyone, that it's not going to work. So when it comes to email, I always try to write my emails like I was writing to one person and sending from my personal Gmail account. So that's kind of the feeling that I want my audience to feel when they receive my email, that I typed it specifically for them. And in order to bring someone to that type of list, you need to prove that you are an expert on one topic, or you have a strong belief on one topic that they would like to learn more about. So the whole send a PDF and sign up for the email list doesn't work anymore. You really need to go deep into a topic that connect with that person and repels everyone else, because I don't want anybody receiving my personal email that it's not 100% aligned with my beliefs and want to hear and learn from me. So when I think about creating a funnel that will attract to them, it has to be something very specific. And it's usually a small portion of the bigger problem that you are solving. So if you get the entrance point, so if you're solving a bigger problem, but you have like one thing that you can solve today, give that solution to them as an exchange to their email, from the emails. So you have the email, you have the connection, and then you start creating the relationship to bring them to a bigger solution.
Wow. Wow. And what's some of the talking points that you think it's really important to get across when you have someone on your email list, like, to really get into, because you have tons of people on your email, let's say. Mm-hmm. How do you really navigate what that conversation kind of looks like if you're not used to creating email conversation in that way?
Yeah, and I think that also varies. It's not like a one advice that I can we work for everyone. For me personally, I use that as an update of what is happening during that week. So if someone signs up for my email list, every week on Tuesday mornings, they're going to receive an email, and then they're going to have a pretty good idea of what I've been up to that week, what's new, what I have launched, what's something new that I learned, what a new podcast that I launched, it's not sales. It's like I'm sending a text to a friend telling what happened that week. So for me, this kind of updates has been working really well because people that are signed up see the movement, see the results that my clients are getting, see that things are changing, they get updated. And then when they're ready to work with me or start a conversation, I make that very simple. So I always finish saying, just reply and let's start a conversation. It's not a hard CTA, a buy now kind of emails. It's always like, this is what I'm up to. This is what I'm creating. This is the kind of results that my clients are getting. These are the things that we've been talking about this week. And if you're ready to have a conversation, reply with, this word or something very simple for them to start that conversation. And I get so many inquiries that way. It's a very soft way to launch because you are proving that you're moving, that your business brings results, that the clients are happy to work with you, but not in a salesy way. It's not a sales, click here, buy now, book a call. It's a conversation. It's like I'm talking to a friend and just inviting them.
Wow. And since you've started that, have you seen a lot of growth? And are you seeing more growth that way than going out and trying to reach a new audience?
I was never a big fan of content creation for the masses, like Instagram Reels. It was never my thing. I don't have a large audience on Instagram, for example, because I was always more about the closer conversations, the one-on-one conversations kind of content creation. So I always invested more time on that. So I have a client that it's completely opposite. They see all their growth from social media and then their email list, they don't convert. So I think it's different for every business. For me, I prefer spending my time on the closer conversations, even on my own podcast and things that I can, I feel more comfortable talking like I'm talking to one person than creating a reels that it's going to be seen by 1,000 people and I have to connect with them. So I always struggle with that. I always prefer the closer conversations.
Yeah. And you know what? I've had like quite a few people recently say that you know what, social media is just not their thing. It's just not their jam. Like they're on podcasts because that's not their thing. But now they're realizing that they have to be the face of this brand, right? So they prefer to come on a podcast where they can have those conversations rather than going out there and doing TikToks or whatever it is, right? Whatever the new one is. So in your audience, you said a lot of them are growing and they're building businesses and they're converting in that way, but not in the other way. I wonder where that disconnect is. I guess maybe it could just be the personas that you're in alignment with.
Yeah, I think it all comes to who you're trying to talk to and who you're trying to sell to and identifying where they're hanging out. So my audience is not scrolling on Instagram. So if I spend a lot of time on that, then they're not going to be seen by the people that I want to work with. So when I think my audience, so busy moms, busy entrepreneurs that are trying to build their business with kids, they have so much going on. They're not just like scrolling and then they're going to find a video of me, but they are sitting in car line listening to a podcast, or they're listening to podcasts when they're grocery shopping, or they're like multitasking and they're trying to get deeper in one topic instead of 30 seconds, 1,000 different reels about 1,000 different topics. So they want to go deeper in one topic. So it comes to really knowing your audience again. So if you know exactly who that person is, so when I think of my audience, I think of that like mom in the car line, so I know exactly who she is and what kind of content she wants to create. But I work with clients that their clients and students, they are on Instagram, they are on TikTok, or some are on LinkedIn because they work with professionals. So it's really knowing where your audience is consuming content and then just focusing on that. And it's, again, like when we started our conversation, we said it's not one solution that it's for everybody. So I had my business for 7 years and I never focused on Instagram, and I was able to grow every year. So you don't have to do what everyone is telling you to do because they saw success. You need to see what works for you and do that really well to be able to grow your business.
And I think that definitely comes with clarity, because if you're clear on your business mission, who you serve, then it's a lot easier to find your people.
Yeah,
Right?
it's so easy. Yeah, it's so easy. And you have to have that persona. You have to have that one person, name her or him, and know exactly who that person is, and think like, I'm going to create content right now. Where is that person? Is she on TikTok? Is she on Instagram? Is she on LinkedIn? Is she reading her emails right now? So when you have that clarity, you are really right, because if you have clarity on who that person is and what is she doing right now, is she out for a walk listening to podcasts? So if you know exactly what she's doing, then it's so easy for you to create content for her, for that person.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it's funny. So this podcast is a culmination of me looking for this kind of content years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So when my business closed, I was looking for someone that could help me in that space. And essentially, my avatar is me.
Yeah.
So I am serving that version of me that was looking to be inspired and looking for people that had real answers and not like superficial things that weren't like really helpful,
Yeah.
And I that's exactly what you're speaking about, because I know who I'm speaking to. It's a lot easier for me to ask the questions that I'm like, you know what? She would have wanted to know what this is.
100%. And I hear that a lot. So a lot of my clients and myself are working with clients that is a version of them in the past. So now when I speak with busy moms that are trying to build their business, I am creating content for me 7 years ago that was trying to start my business with my newborn, and we were planning to move across country. And so I could really use the type of content that I create today that could say, focus on this, don't worry about that, especially the don't worry about that part. Because when you're starting, you think you have to do all the things. So I wish someone had told me, you don't have to do everything the way other people are telling. You don't have to do everything the way other people are doing just because you want the kind of, or you think you want the kind of results that they have. You don't know behind the scenes. So that's what I keep telling my clients and my audience, because it was definitely what I needed to hear 7 years ago. So yeah, it's a great way to identify your audience, to think that it's probably you in the past.
Ooh. Can I jump into what was some of the best best advice that you got to help you move your needle forward?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think when I heard of, look at the life of the entrepreneur that you're trying to copy or be inspired by, them, it was like a light moment for me, because we always look at the business portion. So we always look, like, for me, for example, when I started, especially with course creation, was Amy Porterfield. She was like, I wanted what she had. So I wanted the kind of audience I wanted her to have. Like I looked up to her because I was looking at the results that she was having, and that's what I wanted. And when I heard the advice, look at the personal life of the entrepreneur that you're trying to look, I saw that we were living completely different lives, especially now. Like, I have 2 kids and she doesn't have children. So I don't have a large team. I have 3 designers on my team. She has, I think, 40 people. I don't even know how many people she has now. So it's like, I'm not going to get the exact same results because we don't have the same 24 hours. We're living different lives. So when I learned that, and I was like, okay, wait a minute. So I can't expect to have the same results because we just don't have the same life. So when I created my own idea of how being successful, how that can happen for me with the life that I have with 2 children and all of that. So I started looking and being inspired by entrepreneurs that had similar life and had similar struggles and similar, day to day. And that really shifted for me, because then, not that I wanted what they have, but it was just more realistic to expect similar results when we were living a personal life that was similar.
Oh, I love that you said all of that, because a lot of people don't make the connection that whatever is happening in your personal life bleeds over into your business, right? There really is no separation between the business and you. You are the business. You are the entrepreneur. You are the driving force of this thing that you're creating, whether good or bad, right? So yes, you have to look and see people that are similar doing that thing in order to get similar results. I really like that.
With children. I mean, I was trying to build my business with a newborn, and then my daughter was with me for 3.5 years. So every meeting, everything I did, she was on my lap. It was breastfeeding. It was through toddlerhood and trying to figure all of that. So everything I was doing, she was in my lap. So it's like, how can I expect? Like, I never had a whole hour of uninterrupted time to do anything. So it was really, really different, my reality. And then as soon as she started daycare, I got pregnant with my second. It was a really hard pregnancy. And then all over again, now with 2 kids. And my son just started daycare now. He's almost 3. And for the first time, I have like a whole hour that I can record a podcast and I can do like long format things, because I never had that. And I've been in business for 7 years. So like now I have to look at my current reality and what I can do with my time without the kids. But if you're looking up to an entrepreneur that has their business for 10 years, but they never had children in their lab, they don't know what that is. So it's so different. You can't compare.
Yeah, night and day. And you know what too? The people that you attract, like your core audience, you want to work with clients that understand where you are too. So it's so important to be so real and authentic, because you want people that understand where you're coming from and they're not put off by the things that you're doing. So you wouldn't want to attract someone that's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe she's sitting here with her kid. And I'm speaking from experience, right? So I'm a mom. I'm a mom of 2. And I do remember carrying my kid to work and someone saying, listen, you're just not the person for me because you have to work with your kid. And it's that misalignment of knowing, you know what, that's not who I want to attract.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why I end up attracting a lot more moms, because I became that example. So when they were coming to a meeting that they had to stop to breastfeed or help their toddler go to the potty or something like that, I was like, I get it. I have one too. And we were just bonding, and we were just encouraging each other that we could get everything done, even though our reality looked a little different than people say online, but we could do. So I became that example also of like, oh, it's totally doable, and there's no problem at all to bring your baby to the meeting. We're still going to get it done, even if it takes twice as much time or anything like that, but it's going to get done, and it's possible. And I think people are creating more realistic content now. Before a while, it had to be so polished and so perfect, and the Zoom meetings had to be so professional that I don't want to work with you if you don't understand that I might have to stop in the middle of the meeting to do something, or I might have to. Things are going to get done same way at the end of the day. It's just the reality is just different. I have to understand.
I love that. You know why? Because even though I'm in the AI and automation space, I do think that people are craving real connection so much that if it looks too perfect, they don't know if they can believe their eyes. So if it's imperfect, they're like, oh, okay, yeah, I can connect with this person because I know that it's not AI, you know?
Exactly. I think AI, it's bringing that, because people can spot what is too polished, and that is not real. So I think the realness makes it even the business more fun. I think for me, like when I have my kids around me, I have more fun creating, and I have more ideas. I think because for 7 years I had them with me, when I'm like completely by myself trying to be creative and be like,
Right.
my brain doesn't work that way anymore. But if we are outside playing, I'm like popping with ideas because I just got used to it. And I love encouraging other moms that that's totally fine. And, you can have ideas when you're breastfeeding in the middle of the night. Sometimes it's the best ideas. It doesn't have to be when you're dressed up in the office, time to create. So our brain just works different, and I love that about us. So I encourage my clients to just lean into that, just enjoy that, because it's a lot more fun. That's why we have our business. At least for me, I started my business because I wanted to stay with my kids. So I that's why I started this whole thing. So I never let being with them or anything like that make me feel that I'm not being productive at work. I can totally use those moments to be creative and have fun in my business.
Mm-hmm. I love it. I love it. It has been such a pleasure having you on. How can our listeners find you?
Yeah, I mean, the best way to start a conversation with me is on Instagram. So you can just send me a DM at Aline Hoss. And once we start a conversation, we can always chat about how we can create offers and make your business more fun, more profitable, and what works for you. If it's a course, if it's a program, if it's an experience, what works for you. I would love to have that conversation with your audience.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you so much for this space. I love our conversation.